Clownie Nerf.
Hey guys, it's your Uncle Clownie coming to you, and this time it's on something I took part in 2024 or 2025. Merge Masters. To those of you who don't know what that is, it is a competition originally founded by Mr. Nathan, ran by Mr. Nathan and Caster, that highlight modders in our community. Doesn't, well, not really highlight, like anybody can get in on it. All you have to do is be a member of the Discord and then follow the applicable rules and glue, screw, tape, and pray that your blaster functions and goes together, and you get done by the deadline, which is actually quite a feasible deadline. But you know, we're all procrastinators, so it can take a while. I took part this time in entering it and have a entry that didn't quite go as planned, but we're going to show you guys what I did anyways, because it was honestly a lot of fun to get into it and do it and flex the old modding muscles a little bit. So without further ado, we're going to go to the desk and you guys can take a look at Trench Rat. Various pieces from a Vagabond, and I think maybe one or two other random things. This thing was put together in about a month or two or something, and unfortunately it just doesn't quite perform the way I had hoped it did. It turned out to be a bit of a disappointment because there is inherently a lot of dead space in here from the hose that runs down to the front, which I thought I could overcome with a larger plunger tube, which was the trick in the first place, was to place one in here, but ended up getting in the way of the barrel, which I didn't take into account that it was going to be buried up here. So I could have cut away cosmetically all of this barrel section and dropped in a larger plunger tube from like the I think I was going to use a Magnus or something like that in there, because it had a nice large plunger tube. It does have a dead space removed the best I could, even with a shunt in the back of this thing, because anybody's opened one of these know that there is a large section of dead space that's built into here. So I built in a tubed shunt with a piece of 1/4-inch hose that makes the dead space go away to a full 17/32 brass breech to a P-TEG barrel, which is where the biggest problem comes into play, because even though it doesn't shoot full-length darts, it still uses short darts. There is a little too much friction for it to overcome. I should have made the breech a push-in breech and then nubbed this, and you load the nub in and then close it down, and it would have given it enough tightness to give it a pop and enough to help the air not escape, and then out the barrel it would go. But you know, I guess learn as you go. I did the whole thing in a black vinyl dye paint job and ended up painting it in a beaten up, rusted, decrepit look, because that's the way Trench Crusade kind of is. Everything's in the trenches, ends up getting run down in the long run, and then because it is, you know, a trench, humans against forces of hell, I made this found this little silver cross on a leather thong, and put it on there and added a fake little jewel, because why not? And because it is, you know, me, I added some skulls on both sides of it, and then a sexy pinup skeleton, because pinups are absolutely amazing. And then because I had this giant gaping hole in the front, a giant ABS plate molded on the front with a carved in thing to get a nice bomb to make like a trench artwork. The thing also has an experimental, something I experimented with. I added a bunch of, you'll see some bolts and screws on this thing. They are all cast from UV resin. I thought I keep cutting these things off and gluing them on stuff. I might as well cast some and just get it over with. It worked out really well for this, but my molds were made out of quick drying putty, so I have to get silicone in order to get a good mold, because after a couple of them, molds degrade, and if you make them out of something, say like rigid putty, they don't work at all for very long. The blaster is simply used by just opening the breech, dropping it around, and then priming it, which is hard to do with that hand. This way, which is double sprung, so it actually has some kick to it, but like I said, it doesn't overcome the friction very easily. It was a lot of fun to make, and I have to say that if I ever do one of these again, I have an idea exactly what to do to make this thing function better, but I probably won't, because it was honestly just a giant pain in the ass. But tell me what you guys think about this thing. Let me know in the comments below if you would have had any ideas. You would have actually known that the breech wasn't going to work from it in there, or any ideas of how I can try to fix this. Remembering everything that is glued into place isn't really going anywhere, because I have no ideas on how to fix it at the moment to maybe get more power out of it. But maybe you guys can come up with something beyond a seal increase and absolutely zero dead space removed, because whatever's left is inherently left in the blaster. Comments below, like and subscribe, and remember, Uncle Clownie's watching. Peace.